The rain hammered against the windows of the grand estate as Margaret Sterling stood in her study staring at the photograph in her trembling hands. Her daughter, 6-year-old Emma, missing for 3 days. The police had found nothing, not a single trace, not a whisper of hope. Margaret was one of the wealthiest women in London, but all her money meant nothing now. Every second without Emma felt like drowning in ice-cold water. She had barely slept, barely eaten. The ransom calls never came. No demands, no clues, just silence. Terrifying, endless silence. Then the doorbell rang. Margaret's heart stopped. She wasn't expecting anyone. Her security team had strict orders. No visitors, no press, no one. The butler opened the door, and there stood a girl maybe 14 years old, soaking wet from the rain, her clothes torn and muddied. Her eyes held something strange, something knowing, something that made Margaret's blood run cold. The girl looked directly at Margaret and spoke words that would change everything. "Ma'am, I know where your missing child is." The entire room froze. Margaret's legs nearly gave out beneath her. The security guards moved forward, but Margaret raised her hand, stopping them instantly. Her voice came out as barely a whisper. "What did you say?" The girl stepped inside, leaving wet footprints on the marble floor. "I know where Emma is, but we don't have much time." Margaret's mind raced. Who was this child? How did she know Emma's name? Why now? Why her? The police had questioned hundreds of people, searched every corner of the city, but this girl, this stranger, claimed to have answers. "Tell me right now," Margaret demanded, her voice cracking with desperation. "Where is my daughter?" The girl's eyes filled with something that looked like sorrow. "She's alive, but she's in danger, real danger. If we don't move in the next hour, we'll lose her forever." Margaret felt her world spinning. Every instinct screamed at her to believe this girl. But logic fought back. This could be a trick, a cruel hoax, someone trying to exploit her grief. Yet something in the girl's eyes felt genuine, felt real. "Who are you?" Margaret whispered. "How do you know this?" The girl looked around at the security team, at the butler, at the opulent surrounding. "My name is Lily, and 3 days ago I escaped from the same place. They're keeping Emma." The room erupted, security guards shouting into radios. The butler reaching for the phone, Margaret's personal assistant rushing in demanding answers, but Margaret only had eyes for Lily, this thin, soaking wet girl who had just walked into her nightmare with impossible knowledge. "Quiet," Margaret commanded, and the room fell silent. Immediately she approached Lily slowly, as if the girl might vanish like smoke. "Tell me everything." Lily's voice was steady. "Despite her young age, I was taken 4 months ago from outside my school in Manchester. My family isn't wealthy like yours. No one was looking for me the way they're looking for Emma. They kept me in a basement, an old warehouse near the docks, southeast London, near Rotherhithe." Margaret's breath caught. The police had searched that area, found nothing. How could this be possible? "There are others," Lily continued. 5 children, all different ages. "Emma arrived 3 days ago. She cried for you every night." Margaret's knees buckled and she grabbed the edge of her desk, her baby crying for her. "Alone, afraid. How did you escape?" Margaret asked, fighting back tears. Lily's jaw tightened. "One of the guards got careless, left the door unlocked when he went to get food. I ran. I've been running for 6 hours straight. I had to find you. I promised Emma I would." The mention of a promise to Emma broke something inside Margaret. This girl, this brave, incredible girl had risked everything to keep a promise to a child she barely knew. But Margaret had to be sure. She had to know this wasn't some elaborate scheme. "Prove it," Margaret said coldly. "Tell me something only Emma would know." Lily didn't hesitate. "She has a birthmark shaped like a tiny star on her left ankle. Your husband used to call it her lucky star. Before he died, she told me about him, about how much she misses him, how she wishes he was here to save her." Margaret's composure shattered completely. No one knew about that birthmark. It was hidden, private. And Emma's father dead 2 years. Now Emma rarely spoke about him to anyone. This was real. This was truly happening. "I believe you," Margaret said, her voice filled with steel determination. "Take me to her now." Lily shook her head frantically. "No, they'll see you coming. They have cameras everywhere, guards with weapons. If they see police or security, they'll move the children, or worse." Margaret felt panic rising again. "Then what do we do?" "We go alone," Lily said. "Just you and me. We have one advantage. They don't know I escaped yet. They won't expect us." Margaret's security chief stepped forward. "Immediately, Mrs. Sterling. This is madness. Let us handle this. Call the authorities." But Margaret was already moving toward the door. She had spent 3 days trusting authorities, 3 days of nothing. This girl had brought her more hope in 3 minutes than anyone else had in 70. 2 hours I'm going," she stated, "and no one will stop me." She grabbed her coat and looked at her security team. "Give me your smallest weapon, asterisk something I can hide, and a car, something ordinary, nothing that screams wealth." The team exchanged uncertain glances, but they knew better than to argue with Margaret Sterling. When her mind was made up 5 minutes later, Margaret and Lily were in an unmarked sedan, racing through the rain-soaked streets of London. Margaret's heart pounded so hard she thought it might burst through her chest. "Tell me about the place," Margaret said as she drove. "How many guards? What's the layout?" Lily closed her eyes, remembering 3 guards usually. Sometimes 4. The children are kept in the basement, locked rooms, metal doors. There's a main floor above offices. Maybe. I never saw much of it. They kept us below. Margaret's hands gripped the steering wheel until her knuckles turned white. Who are they? Why are they doing this? I don't know. All of it, Lily admitted, but I heard them talking once something about selling information about wealthy families using the children as leverage. Margaret's blood ran cold. This wasn't random. This was calculated, planned. These people had studied her, studied Emma, waited for the perfect moment. The warehouse district loomed ahead. Dark industrial, abandoned-looking. Lily pointed to a building set back from the road. There, the red brick, one-third window from the left has a broken board. That's how I got out. Margaret parked 2 streets away, every fiber of her being screamed to rush in to tear the building apart with her bare hands, but she forced herself to think. To plan, we need to be smart, she whispered. If Emma gets hurt because I was reckless, I'll never forgive myself. Lily nodded. There's a back entrance. The lock is broken. They don't know because they never check it. We can get in there, get to the basement stairs. The children's rooms are at the end of the hallway. Emma's in the 3rd door on the right. They moved through the shadows like ghosts, the rain providing cover, muffling their footsteps. Margaret had never been so terrified in her entire life, but she had also never been so focused. So determined. The back door opened silently. Inside the building smelled of mold and decay. Lily led the way, her movements confident despite the darkness. She had memorized every step, every turn, every creaking board to avoid. They reached the basement stairs. Voices drifted up from below, male voices laughing, completely unaware. Margaret and Lily descended, step by careful step. The hallway stretched before them, dim lights, metal doors with small windows. And then Margaret saw her through the 3rd door on the right. Emma, sitting on a thin mattress, her blonde hair tangled, her face streaked with tears. But alive, breathing, real. Margaret's entire world narrowed to that single moment. She moved toward the door, but Lily grabbed her arm. Wait. The guard does rounds every 20 minutes. We have maybe 5 minutes. He just passed. Margaret's hand shook. As she worked the lock, it was simple. Old, designed to keep children and not determined mothers out. The lock clicked, the door opened, and Emma looked up. Her eyes went wide. Mummy, she whispered in disbelief. Margaret rushed forward, scooping her daughter into her arms, sobbing, holding her so tight, breathing in her scent, feeling her heartbeat. You're real, Emma kept saying. You're really here. I'm here, baby, Margaret whispered. I'm here, and we're leaving right now. But as they turned to go, heavy footsteps echoed down the hallway. The guard was coming back early. Lily's face went pale. We need to hide now. They pulled Emma back into the room, hearts racing, waiting. The footsteps grew closer, closer, and then stopped right outside the door. The guard's shadow blocked the light from the window. The handle began to turn. What happened next would determine whether they lived or died, whether this rescue became a tragedy, whether Margaret would lose her daughter again forever. The door swung open, but before the guard could react, Margaret did. Something she never imagined herself capable of, something born of pure maternal instinct, pure survival, pure love. And in that moment she understood. She would do absolutely anything, sacrifice everything, destroy anyone to save her child. The guard went down. Lily grabbed Emma's hand, and they ran, footsteps pounding behind them, shouts echoing through the warehouse, alarms beginning to wail. But Margaret Sterling didn't care. She had her daughter, and nothing in this world would take Emma from her again. They burst through the back door into the rain, into the night, into freedom. Margaret's car roared to life, tires screaming as they fled into the London streets behind them. The warehouse erupted into chaos, but ahead was safety, home, hope. Emma clung to her mother, crying and laughing at the same time. Lily sat in the back seat, trembling but smiling. They had done it against impossible odds, against trained criminals, against fear itself. They had won. But this story, this incredible rescue, this moment of courage, it didn't end here, because there were still 4 children in that warehouse, for families waiting, for lives hanging in the balance. And Margaret Sterling had just declared war. If you want to know what happened to those children, if you want to know how Margaret brought down an entire criminal empire, if you want to know the full truth behind Lily's courage, then you need to subscribe to Scarlet Stories right now. Hit that notification bell, because this is only the beginning. The most powerful part of this story is still to come. And trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. This is Scarlet Stories, where every tale reveals the extraordinary courage hidden in ordinary people. Subscribe now, because some stories demand to be heard.